Morning, boys and girls. We'll wait for a few minutes. Rest ones have joined right now. Yes, boys and girls. So we couldn't have class last week We just had one class last week and then we couldn't have class on the weekend. So we had taken up professional communication, and just I'll continue from where we had stopped. Just a moment, I'll share the screen. So we had talked about several things. Just a moment. Let me quickly go back to the initial slides. We talked about, how to 5 things to consider when we are drafting some kind of, writing for professional purposes. So we have to keep in mind the focus and the purpose, then the kind of audience who's going to read the document, how to organize the ideas, how to design the document, and how to develop, your ideas. So we had talked about focus and purpose, that we try to, remember the focus of what we are writing, what is the purpose, how will it benefit the reader, and whatever the objective is, have we mentioned it in the beginning? Okay, and what do you want the reader to do at the end? No, after he or she has read the document, what do you want him or her to do? Okay, so if you have that focus and purpose in mind, you'll be able to include it in your document, so that suppose you are asking somebody to do some work, delegating some task, then at least you explain the importance of the task, and then at the end you just remind them to do it by a given deadline. So the focus and purpose has to be there clear, so that you can include it in your communication. And also make it reader friendly. Whatever you write, make it reader friendly, so that they can easily find the information that they require. It is not cluttered with too much of information. Only the relevant things are there. And also, if possible, write, if it's a list kind of thing, then you can put it in bullet points, or you can highlight the important things, so that it's easy for the reader to glean the information that they require. Okay. Then we talked about audience analysis, that do you know who's going to read your document? Okay. For example, even if you're presenting a PPT, then who's going to be your audience? Okay. What is the purpose of that? What is the purpose of? What is the purpose of that? For example, presentation. So, what kind of audience? How are they connected? How are they relevant? Have you tailored your document according to the requirements of the audience? Okay, so if the presentation is for some evaluation, or if it is for some some sales pitch, then have you tailored it according to the audience? And have you tried to keep in mind the background and the kind of expectations of the audience, so that you're able to convince them by the end? Okay, then we talked about organization of ideas, that have you arranged the information according to the order of importance? So you start from the important points, you indicate what the purpose of that document is, and then you place similar things together and have sections. If it is a long document, have sections, and try to begin each paragraph with a key sentence. Okay. Then we talked about that we should avoid very long sentences. We should try to have clear, simple documents, simple sentences, so that there are no mistakes, and our idea is easily conveyed to the reader. So how to structure your document well? By making use of headings and subheadings. Have a consistent numbering scheme. Okay, so 1.1, 1.1.1, then if there's another part, 1.1.2, like that. Okay, so it has to be consistent. Itemize facts wherever possible. So if there are facts, try to put them in separate sections, so that they are easily readable. Do not refer to information by reference number alone. So I shouldn't say that go back to 2.1, but better mention that what 2.1 talks about. So try to indicate the subheading or the focus of that section. Use textual highlighting for emphasis. If you want to highlight something, you can use italics or underlining or boldface. Okay, so they are there for emphasis, but only sparingly. Don't overload your document with highlighting or underlining, because sometimes in the exams we get copies where students have randomly underlined 2-3 words, later they underline a few words, then again so the whole copy is full of underlines, And it is not that they have specifically underlined only that which is important. Randomly they have underlined. So this kind of highlighting is not required. It distracts the reader. Only highlight that which you think is important and should not be missed by the reader. Okay. Development. How to develop your ideas. So try to be informative in your document, provide enough background. So if you provide the background, if you include specific examples, if there are certain dates or names or percentages, please include that. If you have any graphics, if required, you can include that also. But delete the unnecessary information. Don't, confuse the reader with too much of information, but develop that information well. So don't suddenly bombard the reader with, some kind of task or something. Try to give a context and then introduce your idea. Okay, so it shouldn't, your email should not be very abrupt. Okay, try to give the background, the context, and then move on to the objective of your email. Okay, but just include only that information which is relevant. Don't put an extra information which is of no use, not of no purpose in that mail. Okay, because then you are wasting the reader's time, and he or she will also get confused as to what you want. Okay, so then another point is to use active voice. We talked about this earlier, that don't use long sentences which are passive, which have passive verbs, because passive verbs take a lot of space. Okay, so try to use active voice. It is more direct and less words are used, and also the meaning is also clear. Okay, so you can see the difference between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. The first one has passive voice, and so it is longer, but you have the second paragraph which is active voice, and which is shorter because less words are being used, and the meaning is also clear. Okay. We had talked about this, I think, did we? I don't remember which slide we were on last. Yeah, we haven't. Okay. So to avoid ambiguity, make sure you frame your sentences well and try to see if the meaning is clear. Now look at this, written outside a zoo in India. Please do not feed the animals. If you have any suitable food, give it to the guard on duty. So what is the ambiguity here? What kind of ambiguity?
It is unclear if you want to feed the animals or the guard.
Yeah. So here the writer probably wants to say that, the guard can give it to the animals. Don't feed them directly, but it seems as if, if the food for the animals is going to be given to the guard. Okay. So for him to eat. So it's confusing and not the right way to put things. On a restaurant menu in Germany, our food leaves you nothing to hope for. So probably the writer wants to say that the food is extremely good and you wouldn't want anything else after that. But it also, indicates that maybe that's going to be your last food that you eat. Okay. So again, being careful how to draft your sentences. Outside a restaurant, open 7 days a week and weekends too. Now, weekends are included in 7 days. We needn't write that. Okay. Or you could just write open 7 days a week, or open on all days of a week. Okay. Or open every day. Even that would do. So outside a maternity ward, no children allowed without permission. So again, it's meant for visitors only, but it's a maternity ward, so children are going to be there, kids. But again, it's contradictory. Okay, so whatever document you are drafting for professional purposes, try to revise it and make it error-free, because your mistakes are not permitted in professional documents. It leaves a bad impression. It might lead to miscommunication. You might also lose a chance because you have not carefully drafted your document. Sometimes people just, if they feel that the person is non-serious, they will give that opportunity to somebody else. Okay. So don't lose chances because of, not having revised a document, not making it error-free. And of course, you can take the help of others, somebody, if you feel you are not confident. You might have missed some mistake, or maybe you have inadvertently made some mistake. You could ask somebody senior or somebody who's more proficient, ask him or her to help you out, so that For example, if you want to submit your resume or job application, so making sure that there are no errors in it, no factual errors, no language errors, no punctuation errors, no spelling errors, nothing at all. Okay. So there's no room for errors in professional communication. Your job application, resume, emails, and business letters are a reflection of your personality. Okay. So you may not be there in person, but what you send through email is you are doing the talking through the email. Okay. And it's a reflection of your personality. A sloppy, careless style of writing reveals a casual, non-serious attitude. Okay. So I would feel that why hasn't that person revised it? Why hasn't it, why hasn't that person checked it for errors? Okay. So it indicates a casual, non-serious attitude. So revise your official correspondence or drafts carefully. And if it is a carefully drafted document, mostly it fulfills the purpose for which it was meant. Okay, so if you're submitting an SOP, a statement of purpose for admission to a foreign university, if you have drafted it well, it might serve you the purpose. You might get selected. Okay, but if there are errors, then they may not select your application because they feel that you're not a very serious person. You're not, you're not even applied for that university properly. Okay. Then the last tip is to use action words instead of, doing and, having and, completing. Use verbs which are stronger and which indicate what kind of action you did. Okay. So to negotiate a deal, to interpret a message. Okay. To create something new, a new product, a new design, a new app. To introduce something, to present something, document, assist, train, implement, demonstrate, manage, supervise, delegate, organize. Lots of words are there. Lots of action words are there. We just need to use them appropriately. Okay. So can you just tell me how to use any of these words in your CV? Any one word, any one action verb in your CV? How will you do that? Any one word in your CV, how could you use in your CV? Any of these verbs?
Supervised a team of 5 people to make a project.
Yeah, supervised a team of 5 people. Anybody else?
And there's also
organized an event.
Organized an event. Yes.
Orchestrated is also used. So like orchestrated 10 plus events in college.
Yes. So there are several. This is just a kind of indication of how you can use them. Okay. Fine. So if you are able to communicate well, it can take you a long way in your career and in your personal life. So consider the style, content, choice of words and expression, clarity and precision important when you're communicating in the professional world. How you write, style, content, what you write, choice of words and expression, clarity and precision. All of them are very important. Draft any piece of professional writing carefully and keep margin for revision and correction. So don't, prepare it on the last date, last 2 hours you're preparing your CV or preparing that SOP. No, please have time for revision and correction. So draft it earlier so that you have time to look at it again. And if you want somebody to help you out, there is time to consult somebody and maybe a teacher, maybe a senior colleague, and, take their advice on how to improve it. So if you do it on the last moment, you will have to send it the way it is. Okay. There won't be scope for revision and correction. Okay, so pay special. I'm sorry. Pay special attention to the accepted format and follow it scrupulously. Also, be careful about the accepted formats. Okay, so a CV or a resume would have a specific format. You have to follow that format. Okay, a report would have a different format. A memo would have a different format. So make sure you know the format and you draft the document according to the accepted format. Okay. So this is what we had thought of taking up in this presentation. If you have any questions or doubts, you can ask me if you want to ask anything. Okay, so basic things to keep in mind when you are writing for professional purposes. Okay, So it's very important, even when we are conducting mock interviews and all, even in college, for classes like yours, we tell the students to get their CV or their resume, and we tell them, to presume, in a way that they are submitting the resume to a placement officer. Okay. So putting in the correct information, putting in the right chronology of events, mentioning all, certifications, highlighting their strengths, also, their achievements in the institute, in college. Okay. So we tell them to, and one page resume only, not longer than that, because you are just students. So naturally, you might have done internships and other projects, but still that has to be compressed in one printed page. Okay. So choosing the right format, choosing the right kind of, balance of content. Okay. Then space for your picture, and the right kind of font, that it is neither too small nor too big. If it's too big, then it won't be accommodated in one page. Okay, so choosing such a format, template, where the information can be properly included, and it's also readable. It's not very minute the font is not very minute in size. So all these things, and when you have the paper in print, then you understand, how it looks. While we are typing on screen, it's okay. We can enlarge it and make it small. So that doesn't tell us clearly how it will look when we see it on paper. But when you print that resume, you will find, you will be able to judge how to make it better. So have space for that, have time for that. Okay. If you're submitting something by hand or in person to somebody, sending a hard copy. Okay. Also, if somebody needs to take a print, you might send an email, but they might take a print of that. Okay. So looking at it and seeing that it is readable. Okay. Anything that you want to ask or comment or speak? Anything? Fine. So these are lecture classes. These are not lab classes. So I will be teaching mostly, but you are free to, if you have anything to say, you can very well just put on your mic and speak.
Okay. Ma'am, can you share this presentation?
Yeah, I will share. Okay. After the class, I will share with everybody, because in any case, we don't have any textbooks prescribed. So whatever content I'm teaching, I will be sharing presentations on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So moving on to another topic, which seems to be a basic topic, but it's important because it's common errors which, we find students making, and maybe they think that it's okay, that it's not important, but it does make a difference. So just paying attention to, some errors which we find students making. And similarly, for the purpose of exam also, you might get sentences where there are certain errors and you have to correct those sentences. Okay. So again, I'll be sharing a presentation. Two seconds, okay. Common errors. Again, this is just a brief presentation, but you have to be careful because errors can be of many kinds, and we have to cross-check. And nowadays with the internet, we are free to, cross-check whatever we are writing. It's very easily, quickly, to check a word to see that it has the right meaning, what we want to say, or what is the correct spelling, or am I grammatically correct in writing like this? So there are several ways to check nowadays. So we have to be alert. Okay. So this list, the errors that I'm taking up, they are few, not too many, but on our own, we have to ensure that we don't make such errors. Okay. So how do students introduce themselves? They will say, myself, I am this. Okay. So it's not right to say myself, I am this, or myself this, my name. Instead of that, you can say I am somebody, or my name is this. Okay. So don't introduce yourself saying myself. Okay. Then using incorrect prepositions for no reason. They're not required and we insert prepositions. I have called him to discuss about the problem. Now discuss does not take about, and you don't need a preposition after discuss. Somebody wants to join the class. Please be on time, boys, because we have to go back to the home screen to allow you. Okay. So I have called him to discuss about the problem. If you get such a sentence, you can see that about is incorrect. Use of about. We don't need about here. We can just say I have called him to discuss the problem. Okay. Don't use any preposition after discuss. Then verbs of possession. You don't use continuous tense there. I am having one brother and two sisters. You have to write I have one brother and two sisters. Okay. We won't say I'm wanting to eat this or I am knowing the answer. All these are in a way translations of our regional language, our mother tongue. I am knowing the answer. मैं जानती हूँ, तो I am knowing the answer. I will say, which is wrong. You have to say I know the answer or I want to have something. Okay, I have a brother and two sisters. Okay, don't use continuous tense everywhere. Similarly, I am knowing the answer. The correct one is I know the answer. Then another common mistake is use of past tense with didn't. Okay, I didn't knew the secret. So here the verb is in past tense, which is wrong. With didn't, it is always the first form, because with the modal, you always use the first form of the verb. You don't change it to the past tense. Okay, I can do it. No? She might go out. Okay, they may play outside. Okay, I can finish the work by 10 p.m. So all these you can see I can finish. You can see that the verb is always in the present tense. Okay, but very commonly we see students saying that I didn't knew, I didn't wrote, I didn't cried. It is wrong. Just use the present form, the first form of the verb with didn't. Okay. Then this kind of, again, does and the modal. Does she has a car is wrong. Does she have a car? He do not, but it is singular, so he does not have a laptop. You need not to say this. You don't need to insert to here. You need not say this, or you don't need to say this. Even both of them are fine. Okay. You need not say this, or you don't need to say this. Then we say aaj college hai, aaj office hai, which again is translated into English into today office is there and no office is not there. Okay, it is not so. It's not correct. What do we say? Is today a working day, or are we working today? And you give the answer, yes, we are working today, or no, we are not working today. Okay. So don't translate your mother tongue into English because it becomes incorrect. Make sure you follow the rules of English when you are speaking or writing in English. Then again, the similar kind of problem. Did not wrote the test last week. So here you have to use first form. He did not write the test last week. Next one. The price of this mobile phone is higher than yours. Okay. So we are not talking about mobile phones. We are comparing the price of the mobile phone. Okay. Not the mobile phone. So the price of this mobile phone is higher than that of yours. What does that stand for? That stands for the price of your mobile phone. Okay. So it's higher than that of yours. I cannot cope up with this pressure is not right. I cannot cope with this pressure is because you have two prepositions here. I cannot cope up with this pressure. Okay, but I can say I cannot cope up now. I cannot cope up anymore. But if there are two prepositions, then remove up. Okay, I cannot cope with this pressure. What is the time in your watch? We say ghadi mein kya baj raha hai? That translates into in your watch, which is wrong. What is the time by your watch? Okay, so the correct preposition has to be used. Then errors of spellings. Be careful, don't lose your iCard. Now LWSC and LOSC, there's a difference. What is the difference? LWSC is?
Loosen it.
Sorry.
Like in Hindi, we say like we loosen our tie.
Yeah. So it's something which is not tight. Something which is comfortable. Yes. So when we say don't lose your iCard, it is to misplace something. So it will be LOSC. Okay, the pronunciation is the same, lose only. Okay, but the spelling is different. So it has to be LOSC, don't lose your iCard. Okay. Then me and my friends went for dinner. Two errors are there. First of all, me, which should be I, because I went for dinner. You can't say me went for dinner. Okay. So use it in the subjective form. Use this me in the subjective form, which is I. Okay, and secondly, when you're talking of to yourself and others, please put the others first and then yourself later. Okay, that is the rule of courtesy. So you will always say, my friends and I went for dinner. Okay, don't say I and my friends went for dinner. Okay, so place the other person first and then yourself. Okay, pack your books in the cartoon. Now, everybody you will say, here saying cartoon mein ye rakh do, cartoon le aao, which is a kind of common parlance, that people use. But it is not cartoon, it is carton. The cardboard box is called a carton. Okay, so don't call it cartoon, don't write it cartoon. Say carton and write carton. So pack your books in the carton, okay, the cardboard boxes. Have you understood? I'm sure you would have observed or noticed others making such mistakes when they speak or write. Then plural of compound words. Okay, don't place the S at the end. Look for the right word where you have to place the S for plural. His son-in-laws have come home. But the correct one is his sons-in-law have come home, his daughters-in-law. Okay, mothers and fathers would be one only, not many. But sisters-in-law, brothers-in-law, like that. Okay. Then he has white hair. Again, hairs. Again, there are two errors here. White, we don't say in English to have white hair. We say they have gray hair. Okay. White is never said for hair. बाल सफेद होते हैं, हिंदी में कहते हैं उसके बाल सफेद हो गए. पर इंग्लिश में क्या कहते हैं? Gray hair होना. Okay, and hair is not plural because hair means बहुत सारे बाल, ज़्यादा कम जो भी हो सकते हैं, है ना? तो don't put S with hairs. Okay, hair can be singular, it can be plural. Now, normally in your exam, you won't get two errors in one sentence. There will be only one error. Okay, otherwise it will become confusing for you all. So there will be just one error which you have to correct. Don't change the entire sentence trying to correct it. ओके ऐसा नहीं हो पूरा सेंटेंस ही बदल के कुछ और बना दिया कि मैम ये तो गलत था. ऐसा नहीं है. एक एरर होगी, वो ढूंढिए, उसको करेक्ट करिए. ओके, और सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर वैसा का वैसा रहने दीजिए. एज फार एज पॉसिबल डोंट चेंज द सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर. ओके, I prefer coffee than tea. Now you're already preferring something, so you use to instead of than. Okay, you can say I like coffee more than tea, but not prefer, because prefer already says that you have a preference for something already, so I prefer coffee to tea. Can you suggest me a good dictionary? Now, when you are talking to somebody and you say, can you suggest me? Of course, he is going to suggest to you only. So me is unnecessary. Can you suggest a good dictionary? Then the boy which is carrying a small bag is my neighbor. Now, he might be a boy, a young boy, but you can't write which for that. Okay, which is for non-living things. Okay. So the boy who's carrying a small bag is my neighbor. Okay. So for children, for small kids, we do say it, but it's not right to use which for people. Okay. So you have to write who. If you have any queries, you can ask any questions. Just a second. Okay, I'm coming. Just a second. So the difference between THEIR and THERE, I know most of you would know it, but when you write, make sure you put the right spelling. Okay, I have been there is for place. Okay, they came with their goods is for possession. People owning something. So THEIR is for ownership. Okay, So their car is parked outside. It won't be THERE. It has to be THEIR. Okay, because it's again ownership. The car is owned by those people. So THEIR. Then, if you are using a quotation, it might be direct speech. It might be a quote. Somebody's speech that you want to quote. Please start it with a capital letter. So every time you start a quotation mark, it must be followed by a capital letter. He said, "Get up and head to school." Now G has to be capital. Don't write a small g there, okay? Because it's a new sentence that starts within the inverted commas. Uncapitalize I for oneself. Even this, we see students have the habit of writing I, small I, when they're writing about themselves. But you are an important person. You can't be a small I. You have to be a capital I. Okay. So whenever you write I for yourself, please use a capital I. Okay. So it's wrong to use the small letter. It's not permitted in English. Okay. Then when you're starting a sentence in English, you have to start with a capital letter. So in English, you have this system of uppercase and lowercase. So capital letters and small letters. So when you start a sentence, you begin the sentence, the first word begins with a capital letter. Okay. So you can see the P highlighted here. If you're using a proper noun, name of a person or a place, please put the name in beginning with a capital letter. The Himalayas are majestic in view. It won't be a small h. It has to be a capital H because it is the name of a mountain range. Okay. So the first letter of a proper noun has to begin with a capital letter. Don't forget to put a question mark in questions. Because again, it's very confusing. The reader will think, oh my God, this looks like a question, but is it a question? So they are confused. So don't forget to put a question mark if you are writing a question. Are they not going to come back? Seems confusing. So put a question mark. Are they not going to come back? You can see the question mark here in the second answer, this correct sentence. What shall we do is a question. So put a question mark at the end. Okay. Spelling errors of words which seem very similar but have different meanings and different spellings. So kindly accept this as a token of appreciation. And this book is new except the cover. So what is the difference? Accept, ACCEPT, is to agree to take something that is being offered or to admit something. Okay. EXCEPT, accept, means when you exclude something. Okay. So when you are not including something. So the book is new except the cover, means the rest of the book is new, only the cover is the same. Okay. Kindly accept this as a token of appreciation. Please, I'm giving something to you. Please take it as a token of appreciation. Okay. So making sure, again, you put the right word. Now, difference between ITS with and without an apostrophe. So it's without the apostrophe is to show possession, like yours, theirs. But with the apostrophe is the short version of it is. For example, I drop a vase and then I say it's broken. So it is a short form of it is broken now. Okay. And you have to put an apostrophe. But when I want to talk about possession, something owned by something, something a part of something, then you have to write it's without the apostrophe, without that comma. So the vehicle broke its windscreen. You don't see the apostrophe because the windscreen is of the vehicle. It shows some kind of relationship between the two. Okay. You can look at the other examples. The bird has hurt its tail. Now it's incorrect because it is the bird's tail. It's not for the short form of a sentence. No, it is. It's for ownership. So the correct one will be the bird has hurt its tail. Okay. It's so pretty is a short form of it is so pretty. Okay. So you have to use the apostrophe S to indicate that it is the short form. It's a kind of compressed form of, contracted form of it is. Okay. So apostrophe S. So at the end of a letter, we write yours faithfully. So do we need an apostrophe there? Yours faithfully, yours sincerely. Do we need an apostrophe at the end of a letter or an email? Yours faithfully, yours sincerely. In yours?
No, ma'am.
No. Yeah. So don't put an apostrophe because this is again showing possession. Okay. Yours. So some kind of relationship. Yours faithfully. No apostrophe. Two words which seem to be similar, but they are not. Envy and jealousy. Envy is when you observe people being successful and you want to be like them. Okay. So that is envy. It's not a very negative feeling, but jealousy has a negative meaning, indicating a fear of competition. Okay. So I envy you with all your success. So I feel that, I feel that you're privileged, that you have all the success, and I would like to be like you. But if you're jealous, then you have a very negative feeling. Some kind of ill will is there. Okay. So his jealous nature contributed to his poor judgment. Okay. Jealous here, when somebody is jealous, they may not wish well for the person whom they are jealous of. Okay. So a negative kind of feeling. So who and whom, when you want to use who in the subjective position as the subject, then you use who, and whom for the objective position when some kind of work is being done where somebody is affected. Okay, so there you use whom. Now who is she is subjective form when we want to know about somebody. To whom was the assignment given? Now the action was done and somebody is affected. To somebody you are given the assignment. So to whom was the assignment given? Okay, it won't be who, it will be whom. Okay, so subjective form and objective form. Okay, whom did you meet at the party yesterday? So whom did you meet? Some kind of action where somebody is affected. Okay, who do you see outside? Here I can see somebody and say, so I say, who do I see? Who do you see outside? Okay, no action is being done. It is some action where the other person is not being affected. Okay, may and might. Again, there's a subtle difference between the two. May is used to imply a possibility. Might refers to uncertainty. Okay, so may, that there's a possibility. Might is something being less possible. Okay, you may find a petrol pump on this route. Okay, so there's a possibility that there's a petrol pump. It might rain today, less chances. Okay, uncertainty about something. Okay, so when you're less sure, you use might. When you're a little sure, you use may. Okay. Again, apostrophes. Use apostrophes only for possessives, not for plural forms of nouns. So even this kind of error we see in answer books, where students will put apostrophe for every plural word that they are writing. Okay. So students whose books are missing should report at this counter. Don't put apostrophes because these are only for plural. This S is only for a plural word. Okay. Students whose books, the correct one, students whose books are missing should report at this counter. So this is correct because these are plural words and you don't need apostrophes. The boy's pen shows possession. Okay. The boy's pen was stolen yesterday. Okay. So here it is possession. So you have to use apostrophe S. Okay. Now, when you want to talk about the possession of something by a group of people, you have to put the apostrophe after the S. Okay. So girls' college, first one would mean it's one college meant for one girl, but colleges are meant for many students, not one. So the apostrophe will come after S. Okay. So girls' college will have the apostrophe after S. Okay. Similarly, now there's this word children's toys. Now children is already a plural. Okay. So if you place the apostrophe after S, first of all, you don't write children's like that because it's already a plural word. But you want to show ownership, so you will write apostrophe and S, children's toys. Okay. Boys' school, similarly, a school meant for many boys, apostrophe will come after S. Okay. So I don't know, you might have known these rules or you may not have, but please pay attention to them because it will be useful when you're writing for professional purposes. If you have any questions or thoughts, you can please speak up. Any comments, anything you want to discuss related to the topic, you're welcome to speak. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, so now we have exercises. They may not relate to the content that I've shared. They may have other mistakes also. Just be alert and please point out the mistake. His identity card as well as mine have been deposited at the counter. Do you see any mistake in this sentence? Now here we are using as well as. Now as well as is almost taken like a bracket, as if you are putting the extra information in a bracket, and so you have to go by the first noun only. The first noun here is identity card, which is singular. So you have to use a singular verb. His identity as well, a card as well as mine, has been deposited at the counter. Okay, don't write have. Okay, if the first noun is singular, it will be has been. Okay, because you go by the first noun only, don't go by what comes after as well as. Okay. Next one, 50,000 rupees are a large amount of money to be paid as penalty. What is the error?
और कब से चले जा रहे हैं कोई टर्न ही नहीं आ रहा तो
मुझे क्यों ऐसा लग रहा है तूने फिर से गड़बड़ कर दी
Somebody has put on the mic. Who is it? Yash, Meena.
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. Don't sit in a crowded place where there's so much noise. You won't be able to listen to the lecture. No, please sit in a quiet place where you can focus and listen. Otherwise, it's no use doing a formality of attending the class. Okay. Yes, what could be the error here? 50,000 rupees are a large amount of money to be paid as penalty.
15,000 rupees is a large amount of money.
Yeah, is a large because it's taken as an amount. It's taken as something together. So you use a singular verb. Is a large amount of money to be paid as penalty. Next one, the reasons of his sudden disappearance is quite confusing. What is the error?
Are quite confused.
ऑफ की जगह और आएगा ऑफ की जगह फॉर आएगा
No, off is correct. Reasons for is not correct. Off is correct. The only thing is the verb because we have a
Reasons.
verb. Yeah. So either you say the reason of his sudden disappearance is confusing or you say the reasons are quite confusing. So the verb has to match the subject. Okay. Next one. Each and every one of us have to ensure that the rules are not disregarded during the competition.
Has to ensure.
Yeah. With each and every one, you have a singular verb. Has to ensure that the rules are not disregarded.
Can you repeat the previous slide? Yes, the reason of his disappearance. Can you repeat the reason?
Yeah, here the reasons of his sudden disappearance, you can see that the noun is plural, reasons, but the verb is singular, is. Okay, so you have to match them. Both of them should be the same kind. Either you say the reason of his sudden disappearance is quite confusing or you say the reasons of his sudden disappearance are quite confusing.
Okay.
And the next one, each and every one of us, each and everyone, each and also everyone, all of them, both of them take a singular verb. Okay, even if they're together, you have a singular verb. So each and every one of them, of us, has to ensure, not have. Okay, has to ensure. So even when you say each of them has to do it, every one of us has to do it. Individually also you have to use a singular verb with them. Okay. So the first one here, what could be the error? What does this mean between you and I? What does it mean? Between you and I. What does it mean? What do we try to indicate through this between you and I?
It's used to signify secrecy.
Yes. So something in confidence. When I say something, I don't want the other person to share it. But then is it correct to say you and I or there's a correction required?
You and me.
You and me. So you have to say between you and me, I think his plan is impractical and will not work. So maybe I want to confide in you, want to share something. So I say between you and me, means don't discuss this with others. I feel his plan is impractical and will not work. Okay. So the correction is the I, between you and me, not I, but me. Next one, I have visited the Taj Mahal last weekend.
I visited.
I visited. You have to remove have because it is very recent. Simple past will do. You don't need to have past perfect. They or present perfect. Sorry. They cooked the dinner themselves. Themselves. So themselves is wrong because it's plural. So themselves. SELVES. I was given a lot of advice about buying new furnitures.
Furniture.
Furniture. Because furniture is a collective noun. Furniture would include all stuff, for sitting, sleeping, resting, whatever. Okay, table, chair, sofa, whatever. Okay, so don't write an S with furniture. It's a collective noun. Similarly, words like equipment, words like material, words like software, they are singular. Nowadays we have started using them as plural, but they are not. It's not correct to use them as plural. They are singular words. They are because they are collective nouns, and they indicate plural also. So you don't need to add an S to them. Similarly for furniture. Next one. She boiled the potatoes and smashed them to make a thick paste. What is the error?
She boiled potatoes.
But she wanted to make a paste. So what did she do? Don't remove the remaining half. Make the correction.
She boiled potatoes and smashed to make a thick paste.
Then you want to say what did she do and then what did she smash? So them is fine. So the error can be
Smashed it.
no potatoes plural. So them only.
And is it about reordering the structure?
No,
Is it like
not
she
at all.
boiled
and
and
smashed the potatoes to make a thick paste.
Sorry,
She boiled and smashed the potatoes to make.
See, the error is with the word smash. Do we smash things? If we smash things, they would just, be waste. We don't smash potatoes. You mash them. Okay, you can smash a ball at the wicket or something. Okay, when you hit with force, but you won't hit the boiled potatoes with force. Okay, so the error is with the word. You just mash them. When you press them gently or with a little force, that is to mash. And smash is to throw something with great force. Okay, so that's what I was telling you. Errors can be of punctuation, they can be of spelling, they can be of grammar, okay, tenses and all. They can also be of choice of words. Okay, so just read the sentence carefully, and if you see something typical, usually the error would be there. Okay, moving on. Send this parcel on this address.
Send the parcel on this address.
No, suppose I want to
This
point
is
out
yours.
this parcel only, not that one. So I will say this parcel.
Send this parcel to this address.
Yes.
To, yeah, on is wrong. Hindi में हम कहते हैं इस पते पर भेजो, तो English में कहते हैं send this parcel on, but it is to. Send this parcel to this address. Okay. Next one, Robin, the painter and scholar are dead.
Is dead.
Is dead.
The painter and scholar, yeah. So the error is with are. The painter and scholar is dead, not are, because it is one person who's both a painter and a scholar. Shilpa wrote the answer by a fountain pen.
With a fountain pen.
With a fountain pen. Your father and not your mother were present.
Was present.
Yeah, because only one of them was there, so was present. Both Anne as well as her sister were invited for the function.
To the function.
As well as you can see, and the first noun is a singular. So was. Both
Was
Anne as
invited.
well as her sister was invited for the function. For is fine. To the function is also fine. I think both are fine. Both are correct. What time is it? I have to go to the institute now. Okay, this last one quickly we'll do, then we'll continue in the next class. A first European sailor to come to India in modern times was Vasco da Gama.
The first.
The first. So with ordinal numbers which tell the order first, second, third, fourth, 50th, 100th, you have to use the before it. Okay. So the first European sailor to come to India in modern times was Vasco da Gama. The man appears to have seen more happier days.
More would be omitted.
Yeah. So the man appears to have seen happier days. Okay, more is not required. Happier is already in the comparative form. Peoples above 75 years of age are not allowed on this fund, right?
People.
People above.
People. Okay. S is not required because people means a number of persons, not just one, but many. So S is not required. With each academic year, the number of students are increasing in all the colleges.
Is increasing.
Yes, because the focus is not on students but on the number, and number is singular. So the number of students is increasing in all the colleges. He suggested that I should meet him soon in his letter.
That I meet him.
Okay, even if we do that, still the error continues. There's some other error. So look at the position of in his letter. It comes in the end. So can we place it at a better place?
He suggested in his letter.
Yeah, he suggested in his letter that I should meet him soon. Okay, so that suggestion is in the letter. Okay, otherwise it's very confusing where to meet him, not in the letter. Okay, so he suggested in his letter that I should meet him soon. Okay, so I think I'll stop here. I'll take your attendance, and you'll have to tell me, RN, you can tell me when to have the next class, when is more convenient for you all. Okay, we'll schedule it accordingly. And if this time is suitable for all of you for Thursdays, we can have this class at 10 a.m. even in the coming weeks. Okay. Just a moment, let's stop the presentation. So I'll be calling out your attendance. Please respond. 2 seconds. Where is the list gone? Okay, I think this list is complete. I will be calling out your names. Please be alert. Shivam Singh.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Ritu Raj. Ashish Soni.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yogit.
Yes, ma'am.
Abhik. Sarthak.
Yes, ma'am.
Romit.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Gautam.
Present, ma'am.
Aditya. Athar. Pratham.
मैम इसमें कुछ नेम मिसिंग है.
Who? There's a separate list for not registered students. I'll be calling that out also. है ना, वो अलग लिस्ट है जिसमें not registered students हैं, वो मैं अभी बोलूंगी. वेट करिए आप. हाँ.
मैम प्रथम present 1013.
1013 पे मैं पहुंची नहीं हूँ अभी. Atharv, are you there? I had seen one Atharv in class. Okay. Yes. Okay. Aditya Solanki is not there.
Ma'am 1002 Rituraj.
10 कहाँ थे भाई? अभी तो शुरू करी अटेंडेंस लेनी मैंने. Okay. So Pratham is present.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Jayesh.
Yes, ma'am, present.
Okay. Granth. Okay. Rujul Ghanshyam bhai.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Vanshaj.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Manish.
Present, ma'am.
Shivansh.
Present, ma'am.
Lakshit.
Present, ma'am.
Lakshita, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Sankalp.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Vanshaj Gupta. No. Shivang.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Dipanshu.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Harshil Bhatt.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tushar.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Keshav.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Vishwajit.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Bhavi. Shashwat.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Kalpit.
Present, ma'am.
Purva.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Manas.
Present, ma'am.
Harshit Kumar Girdhar.
Ma'am, you didn't take my name.
What's your name?
Shivansh Pandey, 1035.
So maybe it's there in the unregistered one. Please wait. I'll call those names out also.
Okay.
There's a separate list. So Harshit Kumar Girdhar. Harshit Dohre.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Harsh Kumar.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Anubhav. Bhavesh. Abhishek.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Utkarsh.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Nitesh.
Present, ma'am.
Yes, Shreyansh.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Vikash.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Umang.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Asif Ahmed. Ritik Mangal. Then Priyanshu.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Rahul. Vishal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Naveen.
Yes, ma'am.
Shreyansh.
Yes, ma'am.
Aditya.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Rahul Kumar. Okay, Nishit.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Priyanshu Kumar.
Present, ma'am.
Okay,
मेरा नाम भी लिखूंगा आपने मयंक सैनी
क्या नाम है आपका?
मैम मयंक सैनी
नहीं, मयंक का भी नाम नहीं आया, अभी वेट करिए, नेक्स्ट लिस्ट में होगा. ठीक है. अक्षय सिंह.
प्रेजेंट मैम
ओके. शांतनु.
प्रेजेंट मैम
ओके. दिशांत.
यस मैम
ओके. यश.
प्रेजेंट मैम
ओके. ईशान.
प्रेजेंट मैम
सक्षम. हिमांशु अनिल.
Present, ma'am.
ओके. प्रेम.
यस मैम प्रेजेंट
ओके. निखिल.
प्रेजेंट मैम
दीपक.
प्रेजेंट मैम
ओके. चंदन.
यस मैम